Right. There we
Welcome.
there we go. There we
We
go.
are rocking and rolling. We are rocking and rolling.
Yes, ma'am.
The internet is going to get this wisdom
Right.
and this power.
There we go.
So, to those of you who are
Yes.
watching, I just want to formally welcome you to our sacred, we're creating a sacred bubble on the internet right now for us to have a powerful, necessary conversation. My sister Ashay coined me the womb preacher, and I
I
can't
was just
unhear
going to say, y'all, meet the womb preacher. We are in church.
it. Yes, yes, that's exactly who I am.
I know you are. Yeah. So when y'all get your paper, get your pencil. You gonna have some little quote
Look,
that you
where
gonna
them
want to say.
fans at?
So yeah, get it out. We here with the
Yes,
truth. The truth.
the truth.
The
And
truth.
there's no freedom without the truth now.
You know what? The truth will set you free. That's what always has been saying. And I always
Yes.
tell my sisters, tell yourself the truth so you can heal.
Period.
You can't heal if you don't
Period.
admit it.
And since we're gonna go there, let's just get into it because honestly, a lot of our sisters have relied on their professional identity, their family identity,
Yeah,
their political identity. And right now in this season, all of that's been snatched from you.
right,
All of
right.
that. Because spirit is so invested in making sure you embody your true power, that your power is not entangled in systems that were never made for you, that your power is not being resourced by people who would misuse it and misplace it for things that don't take care of your bloodline and your community. We're talking about womb power. And yes, your whole life has been rearranged, shaken, transformed without your permission.
Because we have
Because
always been a commodity. Black women have always been a
capitalism.
commodity. You know, we are always been chattel.
Yep.
Chattel is property. And so what we talking about and what the womb preacher is saying,
I done got started.
what the womb preacher is saying, listen to the womb preacher. You know, go ahead, sis.
But we didn't even introduce us. Don't hold on, pause. Let me pause before I go. Because when the
Well, you
water
know
turn
what?
on, it's
People
just running.
know us. People
The-
know us.
I know they
Everybody
know us,
that's
but
here,
still, it's gonna be some people who are new. So I gotta make sure they know our credentials. They got to know who they talking to. So
right?
I am the founder and visionary of the Womb Sauna. All you have to do is Google the Womb Sauna. You will see my receipts
Right.
and how I've been seeding education and empowerment. Ashay is affectionately called the herb lady. The A already know who she is. The world already knows her for her tonics. She makes these incredible products. She grows them, sources of everything. It's your testimony of how you done birthed what you have is incredible and evidence of your womb power. And so she got women dropping off fibroids, all kinds of growths all over the world and healing their wombs. And so we had to come together. When I first started my work, we ran into each other and we've been connected ever since. And we both got a download last week, like it's time to have a conversation out loud for the sisterhood. So let's get back into the conversation. I just wanted y'all to know who you was listening to and
Right.
why we're even here.
Right.
And so I think it's important for us to recognize how we have accepted the identity imposed on us has limited our power.
Yes,
Like
ma'am.
you said something key about being treated as a commodity, right?
Always
But
been that.
but why do we stay in that narrative? Why do we accept that identity? We have got to create our own, and we have to do that not just individually, but collectively.
That's why
What is
you and
our
I are talking together today. Because we
yes?
both got these great people who rely on us for their healing. And
Mhm.
we need to make sure they have access to the most healing they can get. And we both have individual experiences, and that needs to combine to be even bigger, you know?
Yeah,
And that's what we're doing, you know?
yes. So when I hear a statistic like
300,
400,000,
300,000.
It's 300. With the last meeting I was in with sisters, they said it went up. I don't know.
You know what? They're always going to be uncounted. So let's use the 400 number.
Yeah, so it's between 300,000 and 400,000 Black women in our country who have been displaced from the workforce. How does that connect to womb power? Because the work that you choose to do as a woman is a reflection of your sacral chakra power, the womb.
The orange chakra. Yes.
Your womb is your seat of your creative power. So here's the opportunity.
Yes.
All of this feminine womb power has been displaced. I look at that as a divine wink and a signal from spirit that says it didn't need to be placed there anyway.
Well, you know what? Time was up. Time was up. Time was up. Sometimes when things go good, and I talk about the seasons and our cycles.
Yes.
Our cycle was out of that. And now we needed to use our other powers, and what I read in this whole thing that you're just bringing up, the 300, 400,000 women displaced from the workforce, is that we were able to get into the middle class by getting government jobs. And when these jobs started being eliminated intentionally, because the barbarian does not like Black women, obviously, outwardly.
It's loud.
It's loud. Yeah. So what happens is cut where all of these Black women are. Too much power in places where he can't control them. Yes, ma'am.
But you know what that reminds me of when you said cut? What I have to do with my plants when it's time to prune them.
Yeah.
Certain growth does not occur
without
until some things are cut.
Right.
And although the cuts can be scary, can be painful, you no longer need certain connections for where you're headed. And there's somebody listening that I'm sure is going through this experience, and you're like, what am I going to do? I got to keep food on the table. I got, financial responsibilities, but I want you to hear clearly that this is an opportunity to change your self-concept and how you view yourself and what you think you can get done with or without certain people is critical to the next phase collectively for our community and for your bloodline.
Right.
And so the faith is going to be required in this season. Whatever your walk of faith is, whether you're Christian, whether you practice Ifa, whatever the tradition is for you, you have to get clear on what you believe is possible for your life now that all of this shifting took place.
Nature does not have an identity of a religion. And that's why I started the Womb Healing Garden, because the Womb Healing Garden, I do those similes like you just did. When you have to cut to grow, that's what you gotta do. It's temporary, but it's successful. And I put out the other day, it's time for us to make our hobbies pay.
Come on. I love that. I love that.
All of us usually have some hobbies that we doing for people out of love. We making the potato salad. We making the cake, the black cake, the this, that. And you just do it. Just bring me the stuff and I'll make it. Oh, baby, I got a business.
Monetize. One of my coaches told me years ago, she said, Tama, if you would learn how to monetize yourself, you will never run out of money. She said, because you think people are buying your service or your product. She said, they're actually buying you and your different forms of expression.
Yes, they are buying you. The womb preacher.
Now, let me tell you, I don't know, Ashay, if you heard about it, but on August 7th, there was an executive order called the Fair Banking Act, right? And so what you're saying about business is really, really important, because there is legislation to change how people can get the resources to step into entrepreneurship. So whereas banks used to be able to decline certain applications under the claim of high risk, that has been done away with. It's wide open right now. See, my sisters got to know about this stuff.
Right.
We have to, everybody go into your Chat GPT and look up this executive order and figure out. I literally went in Chat GPT and printed out, how can I, as a Black woman in business, leverage this legislation right now? And it spit it out for me. You have to, but see, you wouldn't even know to look for these things or do these things if you're sitting down in a spirit of defeat and a spirit of depression. You have got to get up and stay on your feet and create. Use your, see, the boss, the corporation can't control your womb power anymore. God has placed it back in your hands for you to decide how your creativity, how your talents, your skills, all the things, your education, all those degrees, how you're going to leverage that for your life. And you got to start thinking, not just feeling. You got to start thinking your way through this, and you'll be able to do that better if you get some of Ashay's tonic. Because here's the thing I got to throw in here. Here's what I got to throw in here. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
If we're going to talk about womb power.
Right, ma'am.
Listen, some of y'all are vibrationally cluttered.
That's right. You know, you can't do anything unless you clear. I always tell people, you cannot wax a dirty floor. Everything has to be open and flowing, you know?
And it has a real effect on your brain.
And constantly listening to podcasts and constantly being upgraded by people with new messages. You know, like you said in the cut. That cut is what I do every morning, you know?
You have to find the harmony, sisters, between your mind, your body, and your spirit, because avoidance, I got to say this, thank you, spirit. Avoidance is not just an emotion, right? When your body is full of parasites, when your body is full of toxicity, those
your body is full of anger. Anger is one of the toxins.
All of that congests the meridians that you need to access to transform your life. You understand? So if you just even look at the nature of a parasite, anytime you put something good in the body, if your parasite load is too high, the parasites adapt because they want to feed off of the host, no matter if it kills the host or not. Some of those jobs that you were working in were the parasites in your life. They were the reason that you kept saying you didn't have time to get up and pray early. You didn't have time to drink and eat properly and exercise. And now you've been delivered. It don't feel like deliverance.
Right. Yeah. But you out of that now. Thankfully, you know, I had a client, and one of the questions that I ask people when I do consults is, what are your dreams? And if I have people who have a lot of dreams of being chased or vampires or zombies, I know that they are in an unequal relationship in their life where they're being sucked on and they're not getting what they should be out of life because they're being taken too much from them. You know?
No, that's a real thing. Your relationships, what you agree to give your energy to,
right,
is critical to your survival.
Oh, right.
Critical. You could be sitting here doing all the right things, but because you married the wrong person.
And you know what? That is very important. You know, it is everything who you decide to lock your energy with.
Yes.
Including friendship. And that's why last week I was talking about the cycles and the seasons. Sometimes your season is over with your second grade partner, friend.
You know, I just went through that. You better get out the back of my closet.
Sometimes you've grown and they need to go one direction and you need to go the other. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you're not hating. You just grew. And it's the same thing with relationships and partnerships and marriages. I've had 3.5 husbands because I continue.
Husbands, I love it. Put that in the comments, y'all. Husbands.
Because I continue to grow to where I am. And if I had stayed with them, you wouldn't know me now.
That's
Because
good.
I would have been cooperating.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been, letting go of things for us to grow as a couple, and I would have not been growing.
And see, the relationships we have, we allow those relationships to influence our self-concept and identity. So literally, you can lose yourself in misaligned dynamics. Literally. And Shay, you know
Call that
this,
being
when it comes to,
yoked, honey.
yes. And when it comes to the physiology,
Yes,
now, when it comes to womb power, you
right.
keep taking in a misalignment into your body, it's going to alter your DNA.
Oh,
You know, it's going to begin to affect your pH, it's going to begin to affect all kinds of things. And your body keeps score.
oh yeah.
Your body keeps score.
Right.
And even when it comes to your career or your path of money, you got to look at your relationship with the corporations you work with. You got to look at your relationship with the strategic partners and collaborations. Are they a vibrational match to who you are and where you're headed in your destiny? Because those misalignments can bankrupt you. Care is a currency, and you can go bankrupt caring too damn much. You got to learn where to place your energy and how to properly place people. You got to learn how to give sacred goodbyes.
Yeah.
And wrap things up when it's no longer a match to who you are and who you are becoming. And you got to trust that feeling. We call it that gut instinct, but I call it womb intuition. Like your womb records all the affairs of your life. Your womb is your second heart, and she keeps score.
And your brain.
They all work together, brain, heart, womb.
That's why I
It's
do
a
womb
cord.
story. I do womb story. When I'm talking to women, I want to know about you, all the things that's happened to your womb in your life, your mama, your grandmama, your job, everything. All of that impacts your womb story. You call it womb intuition, but I call it the womb story because most women will keep telling that story with the highlights of the trauma, which re-traumatizes yourself continually.
Relive it every time.
Relive it. Your body, like you said, keeps score. So when you say it again, you curl up again. You curl up again. You know, you can't keep telling that story. You gotta write a paper, release a feather, a pigeon, something.
Flush it down the toilet, set it on fire. I don't care when you just get it out of you.
You gotta get it. You gotta release it. Let it go. Thank you for the lesson and be on. You know?
Yeah, the story you tell, you have to live. And that's why even collectively in this, volatile time, we got to be careful about feeding the narrative of white supremacy, feeding the narrative. I get what people saying, I understand, but at some point, the focus of the conversation has to be, this is an opportunity to build a new economy within our community. This is an opportunity. We got to elevate. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. And the universe is not invested like we think it is. It's just tracking the energy of our beliefs and what we're focusing on. And whatever you focus on is going to get bigger and big. So it's as tempting as it is to lean into being a victim and being incapable and being defeated. You got to choose your healing. And sometimes that means your feelings got to come off the pedestal.
Yeah.
And you got to stand in your truth. Like I watched my grandma do this. Everything hell could be breaking loose in her life, but she would sing them hymns and pray as if everything was all right. So you gotta learn how to be a good steward of your energy and how to organize your thoughts and your emotions and allow yourself to go into the position of power versus I'm a victim and this is happening to me instead of for me. Everything happening right now, no matter how challenging, I'm gonna give y'all my definition of adversity. This will help. Adversity is an opportunity to practice your power. That's it.
And you know what? And in the cycles and the seasons that I teach women, when you are in the death cycle, that's when you start to talk about my situation. Your situation is the ending of one chapter or one period and the ability to birth the next one. That's why you have to have written goals, because written goals, you immediately go to the next goal on your list and get started. And when you get started, now you're in the birth cycle. That's where most people want to be. Continue birth, birth, birth. But life is what it is. Birth, life, rebirth, and death.
Yeah.
That's what it is, all over and over. And then we have the bigger mega cycles, which is, like seasons, and that happens per age. And we have to pay attention to, the fall, winter, spring, and summer, which is the age groups that we're in. And you have different expectations for yourself in different seasons. You can't be trying to do your spring in your 20s when you actually are in your fall. You see people out there looking like they in they winter, and they trying to act like they in spring.
Don't be coming for them TikToking mamas. Don't be doing. It's so true.
We just want to make sure that, because every time I talk to women, when they are having the most confusion is, I had a sister a couple weeks ago, 37, 5 kids, nursing school, and she don't understand why she feels so disconnected. She's moving, segueing from her fall, from her spring to her fall cycle. And now when she realizes that, she can calm down, because now she says, okay, I'm not that 20-year-old that can be doing something different every day and feel happy about it. I need a plan that is going continually for a minute so that I can be stabilized foundation for me and my kids,
I love that. That's such wisdom. That's such wisdom right there. We're getting a little bit of an echo. I don't know what changed, but it's starting to echo a little bit. But it's fine. It's all the power.
We just got to deal with it. We're
gonna keep rolling.
Something is better than 100% of nothing, and that's
hello.
If I try to mess with that.
But what you're saying is so good, because I want those of you listening to go to our websites and look at the resources we have to help you identify, what season am I in? Because seasons are so important that even farmers have an almanac to help them properly recognize the season to plant, the season to grow things. Like, that's how important time and season are. There's a principle spiritually called seed, time, harvest. You can literally never get to harvest if you don't know when to seed and you don't understand timing, right? And so at a personal level, because I don't want to just bring up this topic and not give concrete, practical tools that you can use to start mobilizing, because when there's a crisis, when there's crisis energy, people are already having a difficult time thinking correctly.
That's true.
So if you've lost your job, if you've lost income and been an entrepreneur and you've been empowering people, and all of a sudden ain't nobody buying nothing, ain't nobody signing up, and you're feeling the financial pressure, you're feeling the emotional stress, you're feeling spiritually lost, I'm talking to you. Pay attention. I'm calling you to the hot seat. I'm calling you to the hot seat. I got something for you. 2 things you got to do. There cannot be power without order. You have been winging it with your creative power too long. So now you have to do what Ashay was just describing. You have to sit down. You got to write the vision and make it plain, or you're going to pass out. So you're going to have to start looking at something as simple as, what do I do with my time? Do you even live by a schedule? Do you even know where you should be and what you should be doing? Or were you so codependent on that career and that job and somebody else telling you what to do with your time that now that you own it, you don't even know what to do with it? Well, sit your ass down and write it out. You get to choose now.
Right.
Sit down for cussing minister. You know what I'm saying?
Well, cussing ministers are telling the truth. They not saying it. They telling the truth.
Sit down on Monday from this, like, even as a businesswoman, my coach taught me this framework. There's time in, on, and out of business. Mm-hmm. In, on, out. I have my in days, I have my on days, I have my out days. I know where I'm supposed to be by 7 a.m. on a Monday. Mm-hmm. I know what I've agreed to do for my life, right? Because I empty out every 24 hours. So number one, you cannot get more power for your life when there is not order. Everything in nature starts with order, structure. You put the seed in the dirt, then certain things, like there's an order to things. Mm-hmm. So you want more power, you got to get ordered. Secondly, once you can establish a consistent rhythm, and you really only need maybe 14 days for your brain to catch up to your decisions. You get what I'm saying? So if you can set your schedule and say, this is what I'm committed to doing with my time, with my energy, with my creativity, I'm going to focus. I'm going to get my email marketing list. I'm going to get my social media copy. I'm going to get certain things in place, because what else I'm going to do? Sit around and suck my thumb in a corner?
Sit around and cry or drink or
eat sugar
sex. Or there are a lot of things that people do that think that they're being relaxed or comforted, but or watch TV. That's another one.
Or just scroll. No, how about this?
Scroll.
You're gonna break your thumb if you don't bring that in.
But what we're saying is that have some goals. Set up, we should set up a goal setting session for women, because I have done one called I Vision My Life.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're gonna set up a goal setting, because it's always important for seasonal changes for you to reevaluate what your goals are and what because you do it in quarters. You do it for the year, but you break it down in quarters, into months, into weeks, into days. You don't just say, this is what I want to do with no date and no plan,
That's perfect, because it leads to my second tool for them, which is choosing what you need to sacrifice. So once you establish this new way of functioning, because you got your time management in place, you're going to begin to see, oh, I'm spending too much time watching TV. Oh, I'm spending too much time scrolling on social media. And you're going to have to decide, what do I need to sacrifice for this level of success I keep asking God for? You are going to the ocean with a thimble size, and you at the ocean. Your life has opened wide open. Anything is possible, but you too clingy to bad habits. You too clingy to bad people. You might have to sacrifice some people.
Bad people are really why people don't get any further, because those voices are coordinating with some of the negative affirmative voices that we've been raised with. And so when you get rid of those voices telling you, why would you want to do that? Is that going to make money? How hard is that going to be? Why? And on. You got to not talk to that voice for a minute, so you can do what you need to do. Because when I started what I'm doing, people was like, why would you, who's doing that?
Same for me. I was pioneering. It wasn't even searchable on the internet when I got started.
So you sometimes are going to be the only one doing because you were put here to do that thing. And if you're getting that idea, that is you. That is what you're supposed to be doing,
Oh, and that's good, because can I throw this in the bucket? And some of y'all may not like it, so go ahead and prepare to clutch your crystals, your pearls, whatever. Okay. Some of you gonna have to sacrifice this idea of a soft life, because you ain't did nothing hard yet.
What I do is hard every day.
You want this soft? It's like putting the cart before the horse. You haven't put anything in the vote yet. You got to put in some real. Some of you, your work ethic needed to be interrupted so you could discover just how powerful you actually are.
That is a really good thing that you said there, because I recognize that a lot of people, I remember growing up and hearing people say, oh, they got a good government job. All they got to
I
do is
heard
go
that
to
too.
work. That's all they got to do is go to work. They can retire there. They're going to always have money. Everything is set. You know, and I grew up in Flint, Michigan. So people worked in the shop. All you got to do is go to work, you know, even, and then if you can figure out a way to slide around without really being held to a standard, then you got an easy coasting life, you know. Personally, I never wanted to.
And that is a threat generationally. When your whole life is dependent on somebody else's dream, because whoever you working for their dream. The best inheritance you can teach your children is go find somebody's dream to give all your energy to.
Yeah, you either give them theirs or you work on yours. It's one or the other. You always.
And some people can do both. You know, they be in transition.
Yeah, it's okay.
But at the bottom of it, like you get to a certain stage in life when you recognize what season you're in, when you realize I have got to go deeper within and pull something out of me and leave it in this world.
Right.
Because my children are watching and they don't just hear what I say, they become what I do. So if I can only show them that I can create stability and security in this way, then that's all they're going to know. And even if you don't feel like it's your duty to establish a full business, but can you surround them in different environments? This is why communal life becomes the advantage. Tribe life becomes the advantage, because what I am blind in, my sister can teach my daughter, because I actually am not living in a bubble anymore. And so if we individually first get order, we'll access more power. If we get clear on what we need to sacrifice, that'll create ma'at, that'll create balance, and we'll be able to really embody our vision. And then the third thing we got to do is start discovering how other people are moving and really have community life. So that if I run out of food, I know who in my community is growing food. If I run out of water, I know who has access to the wells in my area. If I need help with my children, because maybe I'm a single mother and I had some husbands, you know what I mean? I know how to try. This is why I created the Sisterhood Manual, because it's a real learning curve here, Shay. These women don't know what it means to be an authentic, healthy, sacred sisterhood, and we suffer for it because we end up carrying too much on our shoulders. One of my husbands said to me, he said, God made my shoulders broader than your hips for a reason. I need you to leverage me, right? So we got to learn how to recognize our true capacity and when it's time to tag other people in.
Right.
Okay. We got to learn that skill.
Right.
If we're going to survive this shift.
Right. And you know what? Everybody, I talk to my kids about this all the time. Everybody always has to have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. You do not let your plan A run out before you have your plan B ready to launch or launch. You know, and if you do, that's how you get into a stressful season and cycle, you know? And if you have that list of priorities and goals, you're not at a loss for what else you want to do, because these things are actually competing with each other.
Yeah.
You know, you want all this really badly, you know, and so you keep going down your list even as you're doing plan A.
Yes.
And so this is what I said, saying about this 300,000-400,000 women who lost their job. Hard. I feel some kind of way for you, because I know that
scary.
you gotta try it out, and you gotta be able to take your be stressed for your kids and everybody else so you won't kill nobody. And then so you can feel good in yourself. Got to get your tea, get your Epsom salt baths every day. You got to get a plan of what you're doing to keep yourself balanced and ready. And then, like I saw those sisters in the DMV where you are, last time we had during the pandemic, the close down, the shutdown, they came together and started making cake. People heard about them. They started letting them use their commercial kitchens. They started ordering the cakes and pre-paying. They started doing everything they could. And those women did not go back to their government jobs.
How about that?
Too much money, too much opportunity, and they did not need that anymore. And that's what the goal is. When you have a lag, when something happens where you get off work, now this is the time you've been asking for.
Yes.
Paid time off.
Who knew?
Yeah. This is your opportunity. So I say, write a book. You didn't heard Seema say 3 different books she got on her site. You need to write a book. You need to bake a cake. You need to figure out how you can make stuff for people because you already have people asking you, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? I like, and going to all of the antique and consignment. And people always say, oh, you get such good stuff. Can you find me this or find me that?
Oh, you a consultant. You're a consultant. Say less. There's a link right here if you want me on Mondays from this time
to find you X, Y, and Z. And I'll find it for them, You need to also look at what other things did you used to crochet? Hobbies and things that you let go, Can you raise some chickens for people? I'm looking at my goat out there, Ginger, and my chickens, Figure out the things that you love, that you can immerse yourself in, and not look at this as a bad thing. This is a death cycle. Death cycles happen. Sometimes they're literal deaths, your parent dies or somebody dies. Sometimes it'll be literal, but sometimes it's your child graduated from college. That's a death cycle. But it's also a birth cycle at the same time. So you end one thing and something else glorious is happening, So it's not a negative if we look at it like Seema was just saying. You've been released from I would almost say a serfdom, because we have been, you doing everything you can to make sure, and they don't appreciate everything you do, They don't even give you the title to go with everything that you do.
Or the proper promotion, or the proper pay.
Or the paper.
But it returns you to yourself, and where else should you be, right? Like, it returns you to yourself. And I want to throw this in because you were really given a really good breakdown of returning to the things that bring you joy, because whatever lights your soul up is what you should do, because that's going to fuel perpetual abundance for you. Joy, that's a very strong vibration to move through the world with. This is why you can go in other countries and people have significantly less, but they're happy, so lean into the joy, immerse, monetize yourself, and then get strategic with your relationships and your community. You should know a banker. You should know a real estate agent. Like, think about your network. My Baba would always say to me, if the two are the same, one is not needed. Right. So you don't want to just surround yourself with people who are doing all the same things you do. You need to get strategic. Make this part of your vision map when you're writing all of this down. Like, do I even know a banker? Because the banks might know something. Do I know a politician? I was on the phone, Ashay, after we talked. My friend who is a congressman running in DC called me, was like, Tame, I'm getting ready to run for election. I need your support. Like, You wouldn't think I'm in womb work. Why you think I'm hanging out with congressmen? Because I know how to be strategic with my relationships, because relationships are currency.
Right.
When you know the right people, they can open doors for you you could not even see. They will be speaking and thinking about opportunities for you in rooms you're not even in.
Right.
Just because you are strategic. So think about, how can I build my community, my tribe of people, and diversify it so that, you know, for my vision, my lifestyle vision, I can always access and plug into. Do you know an accountant? Do you know a bookkeeper? Are you good with numbers? Right? Like, those things matter when you're trying to birth a brand new lifestyle for yourself. Who do you know?
Right.
How do you nurture those relationships and keep them intact?
And you know what? As you're saying this, I'm going to put those on my site. My Andrea Wise, my insurance lady, my tax attorney,
yes,
my liability insurance, you know, my, you know, all of those people that I know, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
Until you can go somewhere and say, who do I need?
You don't know who you don't know.
Do you know what it feels like? One of my friends, she told me this. She said, Tamar, when I made my first $1 million through my business, she said, all of the joy of, like, I finally manifested that. She said, but do you know, because I didn't know a tax expert, 400,000 went right back to the IRS.
Oh,
I didn't know what I didn't know. All I knew was, I'm gonna manifest this first $1 million, and I'm excited. I'm out here chucking and doing all the work. But because I didn't know the laws around moving that kind of money, she said half of it was gone like that. And she said, I was devastated. She said, but it taught me about, and I think this is a Black woman thing, Ashay, you can tell me if you agree, because we are so used to wearing the cape, we have this unhealthy sense of responsibility. So we feel like we're supposed to always have all the answers. We don't know how to be strategically ignorant. Okay. I know how to be strategically ignorant and be like, nope, don't know nothing about tax law, but I have somebody around who does, you know, because I'm going to stay in my genius. My genius.
And that's
I empower the women. I'm the womb preacher. That's what I do.
Womb preacher.
And it was the only way, recognizing that, oh, please hear me, somebody listening. It was the only way I gained relief.
Right. Right. It is a relief. It is a relief, you know. Truly it is. I had a sister that I wanted to come on here today who got involved in this whole AI trend. Not a trend though. Yeah. And she was supposed to come on here. She has been taking classes for the last year, but she is a person who was very much into what you're saying, just getting involved in something and trying and being okay with not it being 100%. And her name is Missy Sheely. If you're on LinkedIn, I've taken one of her AI class. That's some of the things that people can try doing now is get involved in AI, you know, because I can tell you I'm old enough to realize when the internet started.
You remember them AOL dial-up cards they used to
and them discs they used to send you, you know, to be on AOL. I remember when domain names were free. And you know who was out there, just flowers.com. They were just taking them up. And me and a bunch of Black people, we up here thinking, what is they gonna do with that? You know, they didn't know either, but they did it. This is why you have to get involved with AI. It is going to be everything. I mean, AI, when mine was down the other week, I was like, this is like my power being out.
And it wasn't until I started exploring AI that I was able to recognize how much I was overworking my brain and my nervous system.
You know what? The stuff
so I want to give this free resource on my YouTube channel. I brought in a sister. We did a live about this AI, the spiritual algorithm.
Okay.
And we talk about the spiritual connection and why you should be leveraging AI. And then we give you practical prompts and tools as well.
Right.
And the sister breaks it down so well. Her name is Tom Tom. She's awesome. And she shares her journey, similar to yours, Ashay, and mine, like of seeing the transition into this cultural powerhouse called AI. But once I got in there and really trained AI, people think AI is taking over the human brain. I'm like, no, AI is mirroring it. It's mirroring our brains. So I train my AI to create things for me. And that reduce my operating budget. I was paying all these freelancers and contractors to do some of these things that now AI can do for me. And so I do want to encourage people, even simple prompts like, I lost my job, I was making this amount of money, this is what I'm good at, and I'm so stressed today, I can't figure out what I should do next. Do you have any ideas?
Right.
You'll be surprised what comes back.
Right. Right. It is definitely essential, especially when you're stuck between cycles.
Yes.
When you're stuck and you're in a debt cycle and you don't know what you want to do off your list to go into your birth cycle, the way to jumpstart that birth cycle is to ask your AI.
Yeah. You know, put your list in AI. Say, this is what I'm thinking.
Yep. Yep. And
it's really powerful.
I love it. It has things, you know, I am myself, one person in $1 million business. I am now able to do things that took me a whole Saturday in 15 and 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's incredible.
Changed my whole life. And my coach, you know, she is so good at it because she was already calling herself a creatress. She already knew that she was a creator and created all kinds of stuff. And when you know that you are a creatress, you need this. You know?
It's a tool.
It's a tool. It's like being out in the garden and trying to take a broom instead of a pickaxe. In Georgia, in this red clay, you need a pickaxe.
You gotta know what you need, and you can't obtain that knowledge if you're not trying. You gotta try to change. You gotta try a new way of making money.
On a group think and think that it's been ready to take you over like a science fiction movie. You know, that's group think. Mm-hmm. But guess what? You're gonna be over here being afraid, and other people will be over here taking up
wealthy.
Yeah, and making it work, you know? So
it's so true. And I really believe there's only two paths in life. My favorite book is A Course in Miracles, and it talks about there's only two paths in life. You're either on the path of love or fear. And fear will always lead to death. You will kill your own dreams. Reverend Ike says, who needs a devil when you have the self-concept of yourself that you do? You can take yourself out.
You're your own devil.
So every time you rebuking the devil, you rebuking the part of yourself you don't want to deal with and address. Right. So we really gotta just sit down, make some decisions, and then once you create a clear vision and a clear plan, find your people. Find healthy people that you can be in community with, share with them your vision. And my Women's Circle of Empowerment, this past week, one of our sisters just launched a book about menopause. And I love the title. She said, ain't nobody tell me a fucking thing, right? That's the title of her book, right? Yeah. And we are loving it and we are celebrating her. And so in our WhatsApp thread all weekend long, I'm seeing the sisters getting their copies of the books and taking selfies. And that's the advantage of being in the tribe. You got to find your people. Right. You got to find your people. You got to say, this is what I'm trying to get done, sis. Do you know anybody? You got any resources? You know what I mean? And then it's easier.
Right.
It's easier to move through each day.
And it's happier. It's happier. Yes. One of the things that I did, one of my goals this year was that I was going to make some new friends.
I love that.
That is a big goal when you get into your winter season. I'm in my winter season. And I made 2-3 new friends.
Yes.
I know. I'm so happy, you know? And so works for you because these different friends have different perspectives that I need in this season.
Mm-hmm.
You know? They might not have been somebody I needed in my spring, but I need them in my winter, you know?
Yeah.
And so
That's so good. Don't be afraid to
yeah,
make new friends, y'all. Like, create space for some new, fresh energy to come into your lives.
yeah. You want new friends. New friends change everything about you, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because that's another drop of paint on the mantle of who you are. And
Yeah.
it is what you need at that time. If the idea came to you, it's what you need.
Yes.
And this is
Yeah.
my book, Womb Loveology.
Mm-hmm.
And
Have
it's
that in
all
your library.
science and practice of loving and healing our wombs. I have been editing it, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out the way it is.
Yeah.
You know what? I am going to edit it again in a year. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but this is the kinds of things that we have to do. And this was actually an affirmation for me before the book was ever done, was having this big
Love it.
here. You know, I see it all the time. And this is the kind of things that you do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
One of
You
the
just inspired me to go get something to put on my wall for my signature book. I got other books out, but my signature book, you know what it is? You remember when Erykah Badu said, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my It's like when you
I
create
love that.
something so important,
Right.
I've been hesitating with fully releasing it, but it's coming. It's coming because
Right.
it's needed. So thank you for that.
You know what
Because
happens is we busy. We
yeah,
do
that part too.
stuff, you know?
And there is such a thing as having too many ideas. You know, y'all write this down. Every idea is not your assignment. And you will find once you turn on, especially if your sacral chakra has been congested and blown, it's like unclogging a drain. All these ideas, all this energy starts moving, and it's like you want to do everything. But wisdom will teach you to organize your mind and your thoughts and your ideas, and to invite spirit to help you sort through what is at the top of the list. What do the people need most from me in this season? You know, you got people like you were saying, they TikToking and all of this stuff. They in winter acting like they in spring. When you see that behavior, it's because you got somebody grieving a dream that never manifested.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
You got to know how to put some dreams to rest and accept and allow that season has passed. And you can't do that if you're moving too fast and doing too much. Right. So as all of these things, I hope these tips are really helpful. If y'all have questions, if this is helping you, put in the comments, let the algorithm start picking it up, interact with us, and tell us how you're feeling listening to all of this information. What thoughts are coming up for you? What questions? What are you recognizing is a gap, is missing in your life? Because gaps can be filled. We can't change what we're not aware of. So we're talking to you because we're trying to activate your womb power. Yes. We're trying to help something turn on in you that can counter despair, you know, and feeling defeated and overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. That does not have to be your norm. There is another way, you know, and that's why we're even here talking to you.
Right. And, you know, I would love to do this again. I am looking at all of these comments on the side and the people are screaming. You know,
good.
Sisters are screaming, and I think that's always a good sign. You know, because that means release. Release is what's necessary to let things in. You know, I have a great form of release. I water my plants because water activates me. I wash dishes. Water activates me. You know, water is the womb. You know, anything that's dealing in my bath activates me. All of those places, I have a little journal to write these ideas that's coming up just like the water. Just like the water.
Girl, I was in the river 3 days ago. I was in the river. I took white rose petals. I took some sweet things. And now this is going to make you laugh. As I'm getting to the mud bank, I start trying to negotiate with spirit. I said, now listen, I didn't dress properly. I don't want to slide down the mud bank and be covered in mud. I said, do I have to get in the water? Yeah. So guess what happened? You're going to love it. Two huge butterflies, black and yellow, landed at my feet, Ashay, and just started flapping their wings. And I said, oh, I got to get in this water. So I take a step, the butterflies start flying around me in a circle as I'm in the river, and the white, it was so beautiful. If I need power, I got to get to the water. I got to get to the water. I got to get where there's flow. I got to get in nature. Nature. You don't see the squirrels begging for a nut. You don't see the flowers struggling to bloom. Nature reminds you of how abundant things are.
Right.
Stop checking your bank account. Go hug a tree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gotta ground that energy so you can remember who you are. So yeah, I love that you bring up water. Water is so powerful, and it is such a powerful element for the divine feminine. When you need to talk to the holy mothers, you get to some water.
Right. Well, you know what? I say that to everybody. That's why I started the Womb Healing Garden.
I love that.
Most of the things that people are working with, the sisters are working with, when you think back to the elders, and you said it earlier, the grandmothers would go out into that garden with the big old house dress on, no underwear.
The moo-moo.
Yeah, the moo-moo. Yeah. And they no underwear on because the energy of the earth is coming up into their womb. And that's what helps to keep them stable, because they had a lot of stuff that you talk about. They were singing. They wasn't just singing. They out picking the collard greens, getting the okra, all of that. And I tell people that's what used to be known as exercise. Going in the garden and getting your food. That was the exercise.
For real.
And planting your food. You know. So this is
I
the
love
butterfly that came to me the other day.
That's what the butterflies look like at my feet.
Yeah. This one came to me at my feet at my botanical door. I named my doors in my house.
I love it.
Yeah. It's the botanical door. Yeah. And this one was there.
And they were just flapping their wings and flying around me as I did what I needed to do and broke some chains in my life. I just love these. I call those moments winks from spirit. Like when these synchronicities happen, it's like, oh, I needed that confirmation, you know?
Right. And I just thought this butterfly is going to leave. And they decided that I would be best for them to continue rather than a cat or a squirrel chewing them up. So now I have them in the little thing, and I keep them outside there with the herbs and everything, and I get to look at it and come up with different nature similes and nature. But I wanted to say this to the one thing this woman is saying here. I think it's pretty cool. She says, I'm in the room and able to be here because I fractured my toe. So I'm off consuming full-time job. But God, the universe is calling me. Woo! Divine timing. I needed to hear all of this.
I love that.
I do.
I love that. See, this is why one of your superpower sisters is surrender. Just lift your hands up for a second if you can, and just say, I accept and I allow.
Right. It's definitely what we need.
I force nothing.
Right.
I'm too much of the goddess to force anything, honey. I'm a receiver. My yoni goes in for a reason. Right. I'm a receiver. Right. So I don't force anything. I accept, and I do it quickly. I do it quickly because I don't want to sabotage what God is doing.
She says, this is April, Princess Thema. I accept it. I am loved. That's the sister said. The word broken toe. Yeah.
I love that.
You get that as you get older.
In
my 20s, I was a vanguard honey. You in my way, you about to get run the hell over. You know? Now, I am actually talking to my sister and saying, this is not the hill you want to die on.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't you. You need better than this. And she is listening, which is I can tell she's getting to another season. She's going into her fall, at the end of her fall. So she's
I love
listening.
it.
And we have to pay attention to that too. And I put that the season on your, and anybody wants some information on the seasons, I'm willing to email it to them, so that they can look at it. I hear that.
So join the email list.
Yes.
Put at drherbsister.com,
right.
Sister AH, drherbsister.com, so that you can, because Shay sends out great newsletters and content and information, period. So I don't know why you're not on her email list already. If you're not, get on there, get in the know. And you can also go to thewombsauna.com. You can join my email list. I always offer a lot of virtual healing circles and things and containers. And we have the Women's Circle of Empowerment. It's an interfaith spiritual group. We meet Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. for a womb healing call. Like, it's more than enough. We got a wombsaunauniversity.com. You can go take on-demand classes, learn how to stop telling your pain story, learn what to do with your rage, and how to detox the organs that store rage. Like, you have no reason in this information age to not be powerful.
To not heal and be powerful. Right. You see me? This thing right here started right here. But it didn't want to do that. So I let it do what it wanted to do. Did you notice that? I didn't even realize it. I am very
on the side today, not the top.
And that's the kind of thing that we have to pay attention to. Don't fight it. Some of this stuff is what you need to do, And
there's one more thing I have to say that I'm getting a download on in real time before we go, because I know we're over an hour now. Some of you are grieving, like the sadness, and don't be afraid to create a plan for your grief. It may sound silly, but I remember when I went through my first divorce years ago, I had on my calendar time to be depressed. And when that timer would go off, I would go in the corner, suck my thumb, cry. But when it went off again, all right, you got to get back to your life. If you don't have a plan for where to place these emotions, they'll overwhelm you. So if you're grieving because maybe you're like, at this big age, I should have more, whatever it is, right? Why am I not married? Or why have I had such...
That is the big depression right there, is letting a 14-year-old mind tell a 40-year-old woman what they still supposed to be doing, because you made some of those goals when you was 14.
Hello?
You got to recognize and let some of that stuff evolve. So you're right about that grieving time, but you're also right at reevaluating where these things come from. Did somebody tell you that?
Where did that dream even come from? Was it birthed out of your whole brain or your trauma brain?
Right.
Because just because you desire something doesn't mean it's what you need. When I go to the bakery, I desire them cookies every single time. But I don't need them cookies.
And you know what?
Then I'm gonna have to go get a chronic and let it tear me up. You know what I'm saying? So
give yourself a couple cookies. Life is not good without cookies.
So seriously though, like, grab pen and paper and say, when I'm sad, what tends to make me happier? Is it getting in the sun? Is it going and smelling some roses? And so that when you're in the midst of the grief coming in, you already have a plan. You don't have to think about how to get out of it while you're in it. You've already planned on how to process your sadness. Right. And look, some of y'all been through a lot that's listening. You deserve to have the layers of the emotion. What you're going through is the integration of your light and your darkness. You're learning how to make them cooperate and harmonize so that you can be at peace. And that's a process.
Right.
And I want you to have a plan for it. That's all.
And that's a great suggestion. I don't do it too much because I feel like I'm here. I'm on the planet. I'm living. A lot of people that I know are gone. I am not letting myself go into the hole, because I got stuff to do. And I cannot put that kind of energy into
In your body,
herbs,
yeah.
in your herbs, you know? So I gotta be good. And I make sure by keeping away those things that could create me to go down, you know? Even if it's somebody in my family that I gotta stop talking to.
Yeah. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Away from me. That's why I've been working with my fan. You know, fans are very deep spiritual tools. I love this one. It folds are later.
Yeah.
And so when everybody was doing where them fans at, I said, I get it. Fan that stuff away. I don't have time, especially those in your later seasons, them hot flashes and stuff. Get you a fan, consecrate it, make it sacred, and use it as your spiritual tool to keep the things away from you that you no longer need. Away from me. I got other things to do.
Well, I am so
this is so good. So what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next?
We're going to do a visioning course, a visioning class.
Yes. Let's do it.
Because that is absolutely essential for people to understand their seasons, their cycles, and have their, like you said, their plans set up so they can go into that. And especially all of these women that have lost their jobs, if they come and be involved in this, we can help them pick out the things about them that need to be, you know, blowed up, you know?
Yeah.
And,
we'll help you strategize. We'll help you figure out who you're becoming, what you need to do next. And you'll meet other women of like mind and spirit in that space that you can bond with, make some new friends, make some new connections.
Friends are very important, you know?
Sometimes
a lot of people will say that they can't have women friends. You a woman. How can you not have a woman friend unless you get it straight inside? If you can't have
friends, I wouldn't know about myself without my friends.
I cannot imagine.
I need my sisters.
I can't imagine, you know? So I want us to do this again. I see the people here are very much into the visioning class. I love that. You know?
All right, so put an exclamation mark in the comments. We're going to get a head count because listen, to Shane, I'll be busy now, so don't play with our emotions. So if you want this visioning class, put an exclamation mark in the comments so we can get a head count and let us know that y'all resonate with that and you feel like it'll be a resource you can use. Put an exclamation mark so we can see, okay, what is needed. Because we're not servants, but we're service oriented. We want to serve you. We don't want to waste our shade. We don't want to waste our creativity putting something together that y'all not going to resource. So do y'all need this tool? Make sure, put an exclamation mark so we can get a head count. Even if you're catching a replay, put an exclamation mark and let us know, I need this class. I need this class. I want to be there. And we will put it together for you and make sure that you can experience it.
Yes. And there go Miss AC with her exclamation point, and also Missy Sheely, who's the AI creatress. She also put hers in there, and Quote Me Goddess has hers in there.
Love it.
So, you know, we're going to do some things for y'all.
We're going to put this together.
Said here, this energy between us is so explosive and magnetic. We need to do this again. You know?
Okay. Well, we know that. That's why we come together, because from the moment we met, it was like boom. And I was like, woo, there's my other womb priestess over there doing all the things. So I think we have done this many times, many lives.
The womb preacher, Dima at the womb sauna and drherbsister.com are so happy to have you here. We're happy for y'all replayers, whatever you got to do. We both have websites. You can access us through messaging and all kinds of stuff through our websites if you want to. And some of y'all know texting me is the best way, because that's how you're going to get a response, you know. And we're going to come back together, and we're going to make sure that y'all have the best healing tools necessary. And Thema already has her own sauna university, and I'm going to put mine back up there too, because it's up on, but I got to check it out.
Sure let me know if you need my help with it, sis. I'm here. You know, I love all of your courses and everything you put out.
I need help. I'm just like we just saying,
girl. My friends don't come to me to check.
Right. And we don't need to say that we don't need everybody. We need everybody, you know, in this circle, you know?
Yes. So, it's so important.
Right. So I'm gonna go out here and make some soap.
I'm about to go sip on some of my tea. Look, my honey figs then came in on the tree and they so sweet.
Oh yeah.
I need some honey fig recipes because I'm not really familiar with what I could do with them. But Zion, I just be in the yard just eating. They're so good. So I said,
Oh,
I
you
want
can
some
make
honey
jam.
figs.
Jam is number
Mhm.
one thing, and that is
Send me
so
the
good.
recipe.
Okay, I will. I have all kinds of
Mhm.
stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. Okay, then, y'all. Thank you so much. Make sure we see you again. And I
Mhm.
am just loving this vibe and loving the fact that everybody showed up. So thank you so
Yeah.
much. And we will both see you again together. Okay?
You are loved. Peace. Stay in
Yep,
your power.
right. Womb power.